Hi Daniel, how you doing?
Well, thank you. And sorry I forgot your name already.
Dale. That's
Dale,
okay.
I shouldn't forget. I've got a cousin called Dale.
Have you? I love it. I love it. Now, Daniel, you've been saying some really interesting things to me. Could you please tell me what you were saying about hope?
My father told me to find out what hope meant, and in hindsight, I know he could have just told me what it meant in Latin, but years down the track, I was listening to the radio and there was all stories on about war and the nuclear dumps in the desert, and I got very upset, so I just changed the channel. And I found out that hope meant in Latin, when they made it up, that it means for sure sort of thing, not just staying positive and trying to be hopeful. It means that the Holy Spirit will make it their business and deal with it. So to me that means it's like for sure, it will happen, like I'm sure they're pretty good at doing whatever they do. Hey, the Holy Spirit won't be just like a maybe or whatever, as we use the word in this modern day life. Hey, so, yeah.
I thought you said something about the Holy Spirit will take it on personally.
Yeah, that's what they, like when they made the word hope up, whatever you're hoping about, that the Holy Spirit will make it their own business and deal with that personally, like won't just be like put in on a list of things to do, or a majority of what everybody agrees with or something like that. The Holy Spirit will make it their business and deal with it. So it will be worked out properly,
That is so inspiring.
Yeah, I think so. It's different holding hope, waiting for peace that way, and sort of makes it a lot easier to just keep walking if people try to get you violent or whatever. Just stay happy and strong.
And what do you think is like our part in it all? What do you think, particularly Australians, should be doing right now?
Backing industries and making jobs that we can work in that are environmental, and like looking after this spot that we've been given to live on and stuff, and everything else around it. We should be a lot more conscientious caretakers, because it's really easy to do all of them things. We've got a lot of great ideas, and if people started doing those, we'd get even more ideas come to us, especially if it's done freely and not just for profit. And all of the rest, we can make money some other how. There'll be ways of making money no matter what. Like all of those things. We should maybe be a little bit communist, if I dare say that, about...
A little bit communist? What do you mean by that?
Well, we could all have electric cars by now.
Really?
And just like the government should make we haven't got Holdens, let alone an Australian car company. Why don't they just make a company?
And what would that do?
Make electric cars.
And why would that be a good idea?
Because then we wouldn't pollute as much with petrol, because we've found out why. We should believe our scientists, they're not all paid off. Like there's some truth to what they're saying.
So if we had electric cars, what would power the electric cars?
Yeah, so you still got to be conscientious of making things not to break too, and you got to get the minerals out of the ground to make the cars, and there's a lot of ongoing things and all of that, but there's a lot of smart people, and if you put your brain to it, a lot of things would start working better.
And so how do you think...
I think the electricity is going to stuff us up anyway, because it gives off vibrational feelings, and it's wrecking up things for the whales anyway, all this high-pitched stuff. And so I hear high-pitched things. I've met a few other people that hear the roo-shooers on cars and poo-shooers on houses, and it's all really high-pitched, like if you get industrial deafness. But I haven't got industrial deafness. I just can hear ultra-high frequencies, and it gets a bit annoying sometimes, but yeah.
So would you say that we should have
mindfulness, no matter what, like whatever we do, we need industry, and let alone,
maybe a rethink of what we're going through, and how to do it better. Something like that. Maybe get together and have a rethink of
and not just like they say, information and stuff is always written by the victors. Like in this modern era, maybe a bit more globalism and getting rid of untruths that way.
So with globalism, so you'd be happy with like one world government, one world bank, one world to
respect other people's ways.
In charge of all of us.
Yeah.
So whatever they said, you'd be happy with.
If we all agreed to it.
So you had a small amount of people having all the
No,
control on the
not
money.
really.
Small amount of people having all the control
No,
over
that's
the
what
health.
it's like now, really, in a way.
Well, that's where it's heading.
That's where it's heading, yeah.
That's where it's heading.
No, I wouldn't want anything like that. I just mean like common sense things that are good for...
But who says the common sense?
I don't know. We'd have to have a worldwide book of comments and somehow try to make sure it's uncorruptible. And it would be a very hard thing in lots of ways to do, but I remember always an old lady in an Australian story saying all these terrible wrong things can't just get swept under the carpet, but if we try to deal with them, we'll fight because of that reason, like you just brought up. If everybody was getting told what to do by certain people, it wouldn't suit all.
Yeah.
So, but she said if we put energy into the good things that we share,
yes,
that it will shine through and it will find the time and the place and deal with these things properly, and it just rang true to me, the way her words seemed very true. This old lady on Australian story, when she said that just kicking a ball around, you'd think how could that change the world, but we have proven through the years that lots of things can come from little stuff, big things grow, so.
Yeah. So,
like we'd love to be able to travel, but even travelling in planes, that's one of their biggest troubles, trying to get these electric cars and everything going, isn't it? Let alone there's, like my dad always told me about a bloke in the 40s, a Victorian Australian, before they made the monopoly laws, when all the petrol companies bought all the bus companies in Sydney, before I was born, and they changed the timetable by 10 minutes. So everybody couldn't get to work at 9 o'clock, and they had to use their cars, and I used more petrol. Around the same time, a bloke made a Ford V8 run on water. He was just a really good engineer, and like diesels work with compression and stuff like that. He made it run on water. He got shot. Like there's a lot of stuff, controversy, without being a conspiracy, like into all the different theories about different conspiracies or whatever they call it. Like hopefully just seeing that the human spirit will shine through and being nice and truthful, and that ends up in a lot of old sayings in lots of cultures. It always says that ends up overcoming evil and stuff. So I do place a value in that, high value in that.
Yeah.
Just try to stay peaceful, and it adds to more of that. And I've always been told that that's forever, and even though it doesn't seem it is abundant, and the other stuff burns itself out and comes back through good somehow. So,
yeah. Do you think?
although what's good for me isn't always good for others. Like you're saying, if we had a big majority of people just towing the line, it doesn't mean that it would make it right. It depends what we're towing the line doing, like it's pretty sad that we're wrecking a lot of things, and it's like we're one of the 10% in the world that have ever had a phone, let alone a mobile phone, and that's where a lot of all of the damage has been done in this modern day culture of the economy and stuff. Instead of,
fantastic.
things that money can buy us more stuff that lasts longer,
Okay, fantastic. And so what if there was one message, you've done the hope one, you can reiterate that or pick something else. If there's one thing you want to say to all Australians, what would it be?
Just to be mindful of what we have now, and like we can't tell what's going to be happening in 1,000 years' time, but just because of that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do everything you can to make sure what you can, that look after what we've got.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, well thank you so much, Daniel.
Fill the world with love.
Yes, yes, beautiful. I love it.